So, hello everyone, and welcome to the penultimate race review of the 2021 season. And this week's episode of the Turn 5 podcast, we'll be reviewing the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix.
Grand mess away.
Yeah. Let's just get right into it. Well, actually, before we get right into it, quick note. First of all, on Formula 2, it's good to hear that Fittipaldi's okay. All he came away with is a broken heel from that accident, but we'll talk more about that a wee bit later on. And they fair know how to put on a light show to the Saudi Arabians at the conclusion of the Grand Prix. That was very impressive. I was expecting lots of fireworks, but was pleasantly surprised. It reminded me of Formula E in Diriyah at the start of the season. Just using the LEDs to their advantage. But that's besides, that was one good thing from the Grand Prix. Let's talk about all the bad things. Richard, one sentence race review, please.
Let's start us off with a bang, shall we? What a
Sorry about that.
mess.
Ben?
Incompetence at the highest degree.
Mine, what were those driving standards? And Nia?
I'm nicking this from someone on Twitter, but lights don't know where we go to therapy.
Fair. So, let's go through the weekend. FP1, nothing really happened. It was FP1. FP2, we saw the first hint of turn 22 being a bit iffy when Leclerc scalped the wall. But again, nothing really happened. And
his car disintegrated. And I'm amazed they actually put it back together.
Yeah. But in terms of how mental the Grand Prix was, that really started in FP3.
Oh, yeah.
When a marshal accidentally activates the double-waved yellow lights in a marshalling sector, that must take effort to stand at the panel and be like, oops, I have pressed a button. And then Lewis also gets summoned to the stewards for impeding Mazepin of all drivers.
I mean,
Mazepin.
That was stonewall.
You
watch Mazepin's onboard and big butt clench right there. So, fair play for Mazepin for actually going over that curb and avoiding it completely, because that would have been, as they describe in commentary, an aeroplane crash.
Yeah.
At that kind of speed.
It's still just quite amusing that Lewis Hamilton gets summoned to the stewards for impeding Nikita Mazepin.
Only in FP3.
Exactly. And then for both incidents, it was no serious action taken. The double-waved yellows one, Lewis didn't even see that the yellow flags had come out. And everyone was like, oh, Max got a 5-place grid penalty. Yeah, but Max drove past 2 yellow flags. Lewis didn't see a flag. The lights were behind him. His steering wheel didn't light up. And the team didn't tell him.
And it was for less than a second or something?
And it was less than a second. He couldn't see a stricken car parked on the grid and 2 yellow flags. Of course there was no penalty coming there. And that's what the stewards said. They were like, how was he to know?
Double standards.
And then with Mazepin, Lewis got a slap in the wrist and a reprimand because the stewards pretty much went, well, he didn't know he was coming. Because the team told him he's 10 seconds away and then just didn't tell him anything else.
Okay, but if you've been told he's 10 seconds away, at least think maybe I shouldn't be in the middle of the track.
What turn was it?
It was through all the sweeps. The completely blind section.
Yeah.
So, understandable. You haven't been told he's any closer, but at the same time, you've been told he's 10 seconds away on a push lap, and you're just dawdling in the middle of the road in a blind section of racetrack. You're supposed to be a 7-time world champion. Have some more brain cells than that, please.
But the team were handed a €25,000 fine.
Oh my god.
I'm pretty sure it
Financing are
was.
going to fame.
Let me double check that.
It
I could
was,
be-
yeah.
Yeah. It was a massive fine. And because it dropped in qualifying, the FI were like, do you want to appeal? We're giving you an extra half an hour. But surprisingly, Red Bull didn't. Of all the times not to appeal something, it was then?
I feel like they knew because it was free practice, it wasn't going to go anywhere.
But then we saw penalties in free practice before. I'm pretty sure there's been grid penalties for serious impeding or ignoring yellow flags and stuff.
I think it's more ignoring yellow flags. I haven't. The only time I've seen grid penalties for impeding has been in qualifying.
Yeah.
But it's like I think the only time we've seen proper penalties imposed from free practice sessions were yellows and double yellows, or red flag procedure infringements. So
yeah. Wasn't that the Norris one where he just did another lap under the red flag?
Yeah.
So reading the document, the driver was given a 10-second warning that car 9 was approaching when he was at turn 2. Now, is that Mazepin's at turn 2 or Lewis is at turn 2?
Well, that's unclear.
Because if it's when Lewis is at turn 2, then a 10-second warning, he could have boxed. And I guess with no further communication from the team, Lewis would rightly assume, oh, well, he must have boxed. If it's when Mazepin was at turn 2, then who knows? They then went on to say that they accept that this circuit presents challenges for drivers in relation to using their mirrors. Although it's their ultimate responsibility to avoid impeding, for this circuit, the driver must depend upon the team to communicate efficiently. This did not happen. The stewards take this opportunity to emphasise that due to the nature of the circuit, it's essential that teams communicate effectively and proactively with their drivers. This is not to be taken as a precedent for other circuits.
Basically, it happens here because it's mental.
Yeah.
Monaco doesn't have quite the same issues. Singapore doesn't have quite the same issues.
Just don't do it in like Brazil.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was what set us up. And then we went into quali. Lewis tops Q1. Lewis tops Q2. Lewis probably shouldn't have topped Q3.
Not by a long shot.
No, that lap was going to be amazing.
That was going to be probably the lap of the season. Because on his steering wheel, he was 4/10 up heading into turn 27.
Which would have put him 2/10 clear of Hamilton at the end of the lap, approximately.
Yeah. So, gutted.
It would have been a great lap, but when you push the limit,
sometimes
that's what
you
happens.
find it.
Yeah.
So,
that's Formula One.
But all the people laughing like, he's so bad, he can't even complete a lap. It's like, well, I'm sorry, Hamilton's crashed in qualifying before. Hamilton's binned it at very important stages of things. China 2007. Like, come on, you can't be going, oh, he's so bad because he's made one mistake on a really long circuit that is very demanding at the absolute limit. Like, even at turn 2, he was fighting the car. But then I saw someone
hit the wall at turn 2.
I saw someone saying, oh, he can't control the car, he's dangerous. It's like, what? That's what the limit is. You're right on the edge. It's not that you can't control it, it's that you're fighting it for control. There's a difference. Can't control it. It's like throwing Mazepin in the Mercedes and saying, have fun, sunshine.
Well, they did do that at one stage.
Yeah, but that was at a circuit with slightly more runoff than this one. You see, they thought about it.
And in a test.
Where they probably put a restrictor on the engine.
You can only do 20.
Pit lane limiter only.
But yeah, so he hit the wall, and Mercedes got a front row lockout through it. Well, that certainly made things spicy for the race.
I mean, it would have done had the race gone slightly less intermittently.
Yeah. So we come to the race. 5 red lights. And everyone gets off the line fine.
Yeah, that was...
Which was strange. I wasn't expecting that.
Nope.
I was
Especially
expecting what we see at the next set of 5 red lights. But again, we'll come to that.
it's the fact of going into that start at the F1. They were saying it was like every F2 race there's a crash at turn 1 or just
Yeah.
before it.
Yeah. Every single time there'd been an incident at turn 1. I think including with the rolling start in the feature race.
Love it.
But yeah, the Formula 1 drivers showed their class, and all 20 got through turn 1, and all 20 made it through the first 9 laps. And then Mick Schumacher did yeet into the wall at turn 22.
Mick Schumacher showed Ferrari that anything Charles can do, he can do just as well.
Yeah.
Which was really annoying because I saw a Haas in the wall, and my prediction was Mazepin to bin it first on F1 Play, and I was like, yes! And then they were like, it's Mick, and I was no. And then
The video of this KSI going, yes, no.
yeah, that was exactly me because I
That
thought I was
Haas
on for
very
it.
smashed up.
Well, yeah, so was Charles's Ferrari, but at the same time, the
Charles
barrier did
drives a
its job.
Ferrari. They can afford to rebuild
I mean,
that.
yeah, but the barrier did its job.
Yeah.
The
100%.
layers of Tech Pro that they've got there meant the car didn't bounce anywhere.
Spa Francorchamps.
And then they said there's like 12 layers of tyres behind that as well.
See, that's not where Mick crashed.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's
looking
like...
at the overhead, it's
They
slightly
didn't see
along.
that, yeah.
Yeah, there was no tyres there, but
There was
slightly
just-
along there was.
But there was like 5 layers of Tech Pro. Which is brilliant, because he just hit it and stopped. And it compressed. It did exactly what it's meant to do. It wasn't a hard stop like a concrete wall. It was all right, it wasn't exactly a cushioned stop,
gentle
shall we
slow
say.
down.
But it was more gentle than hitting a tyre barrier and rebounding. So, it did its job. And then Lewis comes over the radio complaining, oh, it looks fine. Why aren't we going again? When they red flagged it.
Why did they red flag it?
Because there was a puncture in the Tech Pro layer. So they needed to replace it.
That in 8 minutes.
They did.
Because they were saying, like, oh, we'll need to get the crane in. When they got the crane in for Formula 2 to replace a bit of barrier that had been damaged, it took 20 minutes. At least.
Because they have to give a 10-minute warning when the session restarts. So it took them at least a quarter of an hour to get it done. So maybe they'd left the crane there.
Between red flag and session restart. The restart warning. There was 8 minutes.
Maybe they'd already asked for the crane under the safety car and gone,
and
we
what
need
I was
to do
hearing
this.
on BBC 5 Live and then watched it when I watched the race back. Normally in a barrier repair incident, Massey goes down and is like, okay, you didn't even leave race control.
Maybe he's got different images that we don't see and he's gone, okay, it's literally just that panel that's punctured. Replace it and we'll be good.
Yeah.
So, because they'd realigned everything.
I swear there was an official down there. Because there was like an extra car that had pulled up. So I swear there was an official there, but just not Massey.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Half, probably.
Because Massey was a busy boy.
Oh, yeah.
So
doing negotiations at the next red flag.
I think outsourcing something like barrier checks to someone slightly further down the food chain is sensible.
In fairness, during this red flag, Massey wasn't overly busy. It was just...
but at the same time, like, if you think it's going to be that quick, then stay where you are and deal with the other immediate repercussions and telling all the teams that actually you've only got 10 minutes now.
So basically, all the front runners boxed apart from Verstappen, who stayed out. So he got a free pit stop.
Big brain.
Hmm.
Lucky.
Yeah. And then 18 minutes after the red flag, 5 red lights. And away we go.
And a red flag.
What a start from Lewis, though. What a launch. He was passed before the braking zone.
Yeah.
And then Max just went yeet into the corner, completely cut it, and was like, this is fine. We drive on. And that was
We
the
move.
first instance of some naughty driving standards. And then Leclerc and Perez collide, which then causes Mazepin to completely rear-end George Russell. That was quite scary to watch on board with Maz.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah. You seen Russell's car absolutely mount his and then bounce off. That wasn't fun. And then you just saw Perez standing at the side of the track looking all sad.
Man's called a taxi, and
Yeah.
the taxi company said his taxi's already there. And he's just...
Apparently, he asked for his car back.
I think this is slightly different to Spa on the principle that the race had actually started this time.
Yeah.
So...
Not only
nice
had the
try,
race
Sunshine,
started, but
but
he'd
no.
had external help in getting the car off
off
the circuit.
Yeah.
So even if he had have got his car back, he would have been black flagged.
Yeah, it wasn't going to
So,
happen.
No, Sergio, no car, no car for you. So that happened, and then we got a red flag, and Massey comes over the radio to Red Bull saying, "Deal or no deal."
Noel Edmonds has entered the
Yeah.
building.
It made sense. That sort of thing would normally happen anyway. It was just great that we got to hear it.
Mm.
But poor Ocon, Massey just forgot about him.
Like, come on, it's your job, and you're just like, oh, there's another car here. Hang on a minute. No, come on. We've watched all the replays and gone, Ocon, yeah. And then Massey's just like, you want P2, son?
Yeah.
I can't help feeling that I've forgotten something. If it was that important, you wouldn't have forgotten.
I would have loved to have heard the in-between, because Mercedes would have heard Massey go to Red Bull P2. I would have loved to have heard the call going, hey,
Hold
what?
up. Wait a minute. P2 should be me.
Yeah. And then I'd have loved to have heard Alpine as well, being like, wait, what about us?
Excuse me, sir. We were in second.
Yeah.
We'd very much like that position to remain, or at least be promoted. Thank you.
Like that meme of just like people saying, I got paid this much, you got paid this much, I got paid nothing. It's just
You guys are getting
awkward.
paid?
You guys are getting first. You guys are being remembered.
But yeah, poor Esteban. And then he was eventually remembered when Red Bull went, so Ocon's got pole and we're second. Massey, wait, what? Hold on. Ocon?
Who is this guy?
And then we eventually got it sorted out that it was Ocon P1, Lewis P2, Max P3.
As it should have been.
Yeah. And the 5 red lights come on. And we have a bit of a torpedo move for Max.
I mean, he made it stick.
He made it stick, yeah.
So, you know, fair play.
Very
gap
much.
car, race driver.
Yeah. Very much a torpedo, though. If Lewis had been even a centimetre to the inside, they're both in the barrier. So's Ocon, for that matter.
No car. If
no gap, car, Max Verstappen, Saudi Arabia.
If gap car, race driver. If no gap car, Daniel Kvyat.
Daniel Kvyat, yes. So Max got through it legally, and Lewis passes Ocon at the end of the next lap. And
Nobody was shocked.
Yeah. Just, oh, bye.
Everyone
Bye,
was
have a great
hopeful.
time.
Everyone was hopeful that he would be able to hold him up and deploy L Plan Mark II of defend like a lion, but no.
No. And then he set off in search of Verstappen. Many virtual safety cars later.
Yeah, there was one. There was
I think there
a
was
giant
4.
bit of like this Seb's barge board on the track, and we just sat there watching it for about a minute. You're like,
Yeah.
"Where's the VSC? Where's the VSC?" There's just nothing.
It's right
There
next
wasn't
to the
even
racing
double
line.
waved yellows.
No,
It was
exactly.
green flag.
You
There
see
was
Max and Lewis
nothing.
just bomb on
Yeeting
past it, and you're like, "Well, there's going to be a VSC coming, surely." It was like, "Nah, we wait."
When the
See,
VSC
I think
accident
there
happened,
was a gap
When-
in the field.
Mm.
And they were hoping they could have went and collected it under double waved yellows. But I don't think that gap materialised very well. And so that's when they threw the
when you
VSC.
saw, I think it was when you saw the marshal go to pick it up. It reminded me of Canada 2011, where the guy just kept falling over because that always happened.
It was when he accelerated after picking it up and he almost stacked it, and I just went, oh, is he? I was just expecting it to just repeat itself.
Very
Like, it's
similar to the Red Bull guy in, what was it, Spa, sprinting
Oh,
into the garage and just absolutely decking it.
Didn't that tip over a chair or something?
Yeah.
Marshall seemed to have a unfortunate habit of stacking it after picking up debris.
They too become some debris on the racetrack.
Well, there was one occasion where the guy fell over in front of a car. It was kind of like, okay, what? No. That would have been even more of a mess.
Yes.
I actually lost count of how many VSCs we had.
I think there was 4 in total.
It feels like more.
And 2 full safety cars and 2
red flags. Nice.
Race.
50 laps.
How we still got 50 laps out of that, I don't even know.
So that happened, and Lewis came up behind Max on lap 37. Lewis overtook Max on lap 37. Max just went, nah, not having it. And cuts the corner again. And everyone's like, oh, Lewis cut the corner too. Where was he meant to go?
The racetrack?
The track goes this way. Max is here.
Apex. Hit the apex. If Max has really cut the corner, then you can still hit the apex.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so, definitely.
Just saying. Lewis should have got penalty.
No.
Clearly.
No.
For those in the audio section, that was sarcasm.
So that happened. And then further on in the lap, housery of the highest order. Massey tells Red Bull to let Lewis by. Red Bull tells Max. Before Massey tells Mercedes, Max just slows down on the main straight.
I don't understand how you can be a race driver of the experience and caliber of Lewis and not just overtake the slower moving vehicle. He's had it enough times over the last few years with Bottas getting out of his way. He should have just been used to it. Just go round him. If he's that slow, go.
I think what Lewis said to the stewards was he wasn't sure if there'd been a yellow flag or an incident ahead.
Something would have come up on his steering wheel. His steering wheel would have reacted faster than his team radio would have.
Yeah.
And if his steering wheel's fine, then go. What's the deal? Because Max could have just been slowing down because he'd had a gearbox issue.
In fairness about the steering wheel thing, Max's steering wheel didn't react in Qatar.
Well, was it? It was earlier that Lewis's steering. Lewis got a reprimand because he didn't see any of the yellow flags. Is it?
Yeah, that was
He got no
FP3.
further action in FP3
Yeah.
because there just was no flag for him to see.
Yeah, but he was thinking maybe that's happened again.
Mm.
So he could have been thinking that.
So he did say to the stewards, I had no idea why he slowed down, so I stayed behind him.
And then I feel like Max has just seen Lewis coming up behind him in his wing mirrors, not slowing down quite as much as he'd like, and going, ah! And yeah, I don't know. It was a mess.
Max, I don't know why he slammed on the brakes again. Like, he caused a 2.4 G deceleration and applied quite a high amount of brake pressure. It's in the causing a collision document, which is fairly lengthy, to be honest. I mean, of course it is. It's the FIA. But so here we are. So the standard preamble, 2 penalty points for being a naughty boy. Have you missed these, Richard? Penalty points. They're your best friend.
I hate
So-
it.
So this is what they said. They spoke
Nice
to them.
bar.
Yeah, so they spoke to him and was like, yeah,
Fake.
Max, this is your fault. Richard, you bad man.
Fake.
Why is that the first thing I see? Like, I know it's right in the middle of the screen, but why is that the first thing I see?
Let's try that again.
That's 100% staying in.
Okay. So the stewards decide Max was at fault because he was told to let Lewis by strategically. So the stewards also did agree with Paul di Resta and said that none of them wanted to be in the lead at the DRS detection line. And we've seen DRS chicken before, and it is fair enough. Just don't do that. That's bad. That's very bad. So the stewards basically decided that the sudden braking was erratic and the predominant cause of the collision. And so the standard penalty of 10 seconds is imposed. Could have been higher, which would have dropped them below Bottas, but they decided to stick with the 10 second rather than going for 20 or
There
a
would have
30-second
been
time penalty.
Absolute outrage if they'd done that.
Well, a 20-second stop, a 20-second time penalty would actually have dropped them below Ocon.
Exactly. Outrage.
So, also being penalised during the race
Sonoda.
was Sonoda again
How many
with
points
an
is he
Aston
on now?
Martin. That's Aston Martin are going to think Sonoda doesn't like them because that's
think
twice in
Sonoda's-
3 races.
Well, he's definitely
Sonoda's-
not getting a drive with them, is he?
No.
Sonoda's probably got like 6 points, I think.
No, he's got 8.
Oh,
So only one more than Max Verstappen.
He's getting close.
Dirty drivers, both of them. Shocking.
However, Verstappen is apparently so talented that he can drive 2 cars at once.
Oh, lovely. Okay, so Verstappen is now in car 5 and car
And
33.
33. Yeah.
Nice. Like
Vettel's
that.
just on a deck chair somewhere.
Doing a Fernando, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't blame
Unbelievable.
him. Wouldn't want to go Saudi Arabia.
So that was something I wanted to highlight. Lewis saying, his problems with going to Saudi Arabia and all the issues outside. And then at the end of the race saying they have such great fans. while at the same time being booed.
Yeah, both of them were booed,
Yeah, I
which
know,
was very interesting.
But oh yeah, we've got such great fans. I felt so welcome. Boo! Like, what are you, dumb? Like, you're being actively booed. Don't say, "Oh yeah, everyone's so great. I feel so welcome here." Like, what? What are you on? You've clearly just been paid by F1 to say that, to give the Grand Prix a better image, and the crowd's gone, no.
I think the crowd was very split in half.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, you could
was
hear
like-
it.
Yeah. There was the Lewis section and there was the Max section.
It's
Either
kind of
that,
just how it is, though,
or
isn't it?
there was the neutrals and there was the purists. And the purists wouldn't have been pleased at the driving standards this weekend.
Just like the picture in that takeaway place where you see all the people like fighting in the background. There's just us neutrals just sat in the middle, just casually eating our food as there's just chaos.
Can I get a waffle? Can I please get a waffle? Vine, how I miss thee.
So that happened on lap 38. And then further on, Max was told to give the position back again. And then flagrantly broke the rules when he let Lewis past and then was just like, bye. And just overtook him again. Didn't Lewis get a 20-second time penalty for that in Belgium in 2008? I'm fairly certain
something
he did.
like that.
It was a massive penalty.
Yeah.
The stewards this time, I sleep.
I feel it's because he let him past again. So he
Perhaps
rectified his misdemeanor, shall we say.
Yeah.
Because it was under investigation. Or was that the
that was the turn one
rear-ending?
incident that was under investigation?
No, because it came up 10:27 will be investigated after the race. Was that the rear-ending incident?
Yeah, that's
okay.
Yeah, that's the rear-ending, yeah.
I thought, because of when that came up, I thought that was going to be like he let him through, but instantly overtook him again. Because I was going to say, like, Lewis has set a precedent for that of it's not sufficiently letting them past, or however they worded it, such that, Lewis immediately overtook. Because Lewis let them through at La Source, but then absolutely hurled it down the Kemmel Straight and re-overtook until they come. So...
Which is actually quite some distance.
Yeah, but the power of the slipstream down the Kemmel Straight is such that it was more of an advantage for him to be behind at that point anyway.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was what they were going for, but then Max just let him through anyway and just went, I've dealt with it.
Yeah. And then Lewis gets past again as Max lets him through. Is a wee bit naughty himself and just shows him the outside of turn 27. And then starts setting fastest laps with a damaged front wing. I don't think enough people picked up on that at the end of the race. That was mightily impressive.
Makes you wonder if they actually put the right downforce settings on the car to begin with.
Yeah.
Because if he's going faster with less downforce, maybe they should have just taken a bit off.
Just the Abu Dhabi Lewis with no front wing.
Yeah.
If it works, it works,
Exactly. El plan. So yeah, that was the race. Lewis storms off then, fastest lap after fastest lap to win it. Valtteri cruelly denies Esteban Ocon a podium, as he cruelly denied.
Yeah, I
know.
know.
We're watching Verstappen's helmet.
We were on board with Lewis, and it's just like I'm watching the timers, and it's like, oh, come on! There is a fight for third, and it is less than 0.2 of a second here. Come on, you have one job. Show the action. No, we're just going to watch a helmet.
Yeah.
It was going reasonably well until that point.
So Bottas cruelly denies Ocon a podium as he cruelly denied Lance Stroll a P2 in Baku. All
I feel
those
like
years ago.
this is more mean because it's actually a podium rather than just what step you're going to stand on.
Poor Esteban. But with that, it all but wraps up the constructors' title.
Mm.
Mercedes have to simply score 12 points to win it.
Oh, what, 12 points period, not 12 points more?
Or it might be, yeah, just 12 points, I think. Because they had to score 40 points more, and they got 28 of those in this weekend. So
Okay, yeah, that's... When was the last time we had...
both
was it
titles alive?
2000? No, I was going to say 2008, where we had a different constructors win to the drivers. I think it's 2008, isn't it? Because Ferrari won the constructors, but Lewis won the drivers.
Yeah, 2008.
And ever since then,
2009,
it's
it was
been
Braun and Jensen.
then
2010
to 2013
yeah,
was all Seb Red Bull, and then
and then
2014
2014
onwards has been
it's
Mercedes drivers.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So,
for the first
2008.
time in over a decade, we're on the cusp of having potentially a different drivers' championship team and constructors' championship team, which would be nice, you know.
We are also on the verge, though, of the first time ever, I think, in Formula Racing, having a brand hold 4 world titles at once. Because you've got Mercedes holding both FIA Formula E world titles. It could win both Formula One world titles this weekend. It's going to be spicy in terms of setting some records this weekend. We shall see what happens.
It's going to be a race, that's for sure.
I'm just praying we don't get a 1997.
Or any other year that two title rivals collided.
Yeah, but 1997 is worse because that led to disqualification.
Yeah, true. I mean, arguably, incidents beforehand probably also should have, but you know. So, yeah, as long as it doesn't end with a clear cut, you've literally just torpedoed him sort of incident, then I'll be reasonably happy with it.
Bottas performs the sacrifice.
Yeah, see, that's what I don't want. I don't want second drivers getting involved, and I don't want Max to just yeet him out. Like, if Lewis ends up with, like, I don't know, his gearbox breaks and has a 5-place penalty and then gets caught in a melee at turn 1 because someone like Alonso's just not hit the brakes or locked up.
Out plan.
Out plan. Okay, maybe that was a bad choice. Someone like George Russell, because that would be very bad.
That would start Mercedes 2022 off on the wrong foot.
Exactly.
Sure.
So that is
You
exactly
see this
why
contract,
that wouldn't
George. Bye-bye.
Pulls out lighter. Time for us to do a Red Bull.
Perez suddenly
You know,
sacked.
contract for 2022? Not for long.
Welcome to the reserve driver program.
Hello, Bottas. You know that multi-year deal you wanted? A vacancy has just become available. Would you like to come back?
Imagine the silly season that would kick off if that did happen.
Bottas has been demoted to Formula 3. Wait, no. Russell has been demoted to Formula 3.
Yeah, Valtteri's crying. Why am I in Formula 3?
Sorry, so used to this.
My mistake.
Wrong number.
Toto's just like, sorry, used to second driver being you.
The worst one would be if it Australia. Well, not Australia. Is Australia the season opener next year? No, it's not. It's Bahrain again. Bahrain, Valtteri, it's James. Wait, no, sorry. George, it is James.
George just has Rage Against the Machines Killing in the Name of ready to go. Which I cannot play for obvious censorship.
Yes. So, yeah, Richard, prediction scores, please.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Also, I would just like to say that F for Nia on the bold prediction front, by, what was it, 1/10 of a second?
What did I say?
You said either a McLaren, a Ferrari, or an Alpine on the podium.
Oh no!
And Nia
Big
has just done
F.
her best impression of Toto
Of
Wolff.
Toto Wolff.
Also, I do want to throw a word in here of I would very much like a pair of Bose headphones, because if they can survive that,
didn't.
Mhm.
They didn't. There's
They
a
didn't?
Mercedes posted a TikTok from the side, and you can see they're snapped in half.
never mind.
They're clearly snapped in half.
He obviously just got a new pair.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because in the slow-mo, there was some serious bending going on there.
Yeah. Yeah, you see them just start going the other way.
It's like, okay, Toto, chill. Chill. So, yeah, never mind. I will take that back. My headphones seem to be just as durable.
We've seen a lot of angry people this weekend, especially with Yoss at quali as well.
Yeah, I
Just
feel like
smash
there's...
the table.
As the stakes get ramped up, so do the emotions, and emotions apparently result in Hulk.
Yeah.
So yeah, Nia, your bold prediction was so close yet so far. Mine was only mine was again half right in the fact that only one of the drivers I said would score points scored points. So no double AlphaTauri points finish. Thank you, Yuki. Chris, you got yours. Perez did in fact DNF.
He did. Thank you, Charles.
But Ben, a lap 1, turn 1 crash. Now,
there was contact, but I wouldn't say it was a crash.
Now, Formula 2, yes, and yes. Formula 1, the first go round, no. The second go round, kind of, because it started in turn 1, but very much ended at turn 3.
Third go round, yes.
Third go round, yes.
There was contact.
So
no point.
What you're saying is I've jinxed the first lap.
Yes, pretty
no
much.
Points.
Every F1 driver can thank me.
And Alex said more than one red flag, or at least one or more red flags, and there were 2. So yes, he got that one. Now let me just quickly do this one. 3, 4.
Bottas let me down. The red flag let me down actually with the points. Because I've got all podium people correct. Bottas and Verstappen did bad things.
Nice work, mate.
Yeah, I know. I was so happy that Bottas got it. I've never been more happy for Bottas to be P3 in my life.
It took me a solid 20 minutes because I was at work. I was just like, wait, Bottas got third. I put Bottas third. Oh my god. So unfortunately, Chris, you're still last.
Yeah, of course. It's a meme at this point. Did I close the gap any?
What was it? It was you have closed it by 1 point.
Yes.
It's now only 9 points.
Still not mathematically impossible.
Exactly. Alex is still in 5th. Sonia has dropped a place down into 4th. Nia has dropped 2 places from 1st to 3rd. Toto intensified. Ben is up a place. Ben is up into 2nd, and I have retaken the lead.
How many points am I into 1st?
Okay, you are on 99 points. I'm on 105.
Mathematically.
I mean, yeah, but it did help that both me and Ben got the full 16 points available this weekend.
Yeah.
So, yeah, first place is me, 105. Second, Ben, 101. Third, Nia, 99. And then 4th is Sonia on 92. So, somewhat safer than it was a couple of weeks back for the fight for 3rd. But at the same time, it's still reasonably close at the top.
Having just watched that TikTok of Toto smashing the headphones, they were dead.
Mazepin bingo.
Woo.
He didn't finish, so
No.
nobody got that. And so therefore he was never lapped.
No.
And he didn't finish on the lead lap.
No.
So nobody got anything this week. Whee! We went from a bingo to a nothing.
Yeah.
0 to 0, and just like that. Reverse Hercules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Abu Dhabi time.
Woo! Oh, and the one person that submitted social media predictions for last week, obviously, therefore won. So, Macazans, congratulations, you won
Well done.
for being the only person to submit.
Absolute genius from them.
Big brain move.
I was so bothered by what they had written down that I didn't even write it down. I was just like, okay, one person, you win. Grats. Job's good.
Yep. The good news is we've more of them this week.
Oh, huzzah.
We do have more social media predictions. So let's do predictions first, and then we'll preview the race, and then we'll talk Formula 2. So, on social media, we'll do it slightly backwards, but that's okay. We have Sonia replying. So hers is part of the thing.
I was going to say, because I've got her on WhatsApp here, so...
Let's see if it's the same.
Okay.
Pole, Verstappen.
Yes.
Podium, Verperham.
Yes.
Ergo, Verstappen to win the title.
Yes.
Then we've got Elsa with almost the same, except they have Ocon on the podium. Ergo, Verstappen wins the title.
What, Verper Ock?
Yeah.
Oh,
Then
sorry,
we
Occo.
have, Occo. Then we have Jason Patrick with Pole, Verstappen, podium. Verhamper. Ergo, Verstappen wins the title.
I'm sensing a theme here.
And then we have Sophie, who so kindly came on a few weeks back, with Hamilton for pole. And then podium, Ham, Ver, Sainz. And then Chris Bryant replied to that with, I reckon they're going to collide, probably race and title decided trackside, not on it.
Yeah.
There's going to be some
If in doubt, boxing match.
So while Richard frantically tries to get Alex's prediction that he forgot about, Richard.
Alex normally messages me anyway, okay? This is definitely his fault.
Of course. We're now going to go through the race classification for the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix after all the penalties have been applied, which, to be honest, didn't change much. But anyway, here we go. The classification was... Come on, timing sheet, load, thank you. Here we go. This. Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas, Ocon, Ricciardo, Gasly, Leclerc, Sainz, Giovinazzi, Norris, Stroll, Latifi, Alonso, Tsunoda, Raikkonen, and then a fair few DNFs, Schumacher, Russell, Mazepin, Perez, Vettel. Fastest lap, a 130.7 on lap 47. In comparison, no one else made it into the 130s at all. That was with a damaged front wing.
That's what I'm saying.
Formula
They didn't
1.
need that much downforce on. They could have just run with half a car.
Of course.
But then again, if running
mean,
with half a car was the vibe, then why didn't Haas do so?
I mean, Mercedes have won a race on 3 wheels as well.
True.
And give Haas ideas for next year.
While we wait on Alex and everyone else,
I don't think Alex is alive.
let's do
He's
our
still
own.
offline.
Let's do our own. So Ben, pole.
Hamilton.
Nia, pole.
Verstappen.
Richard, pole.
Hamilton.
Hamilton for me.
Shock.
Before we do podium, Nia, championship.
Verstappen.
Ben,
Oh, God, I don't know
championship?
the
Sure.
problem.
Surely it just gives it away.
Well, no, because Hamilton might DNF. Maybe a
Lewis.
double DNF.
Yeah.
Nia's bold prediction could be a kamikaze move into turn 1 that goes wrong.
Oh,
Unexpected
Bottas, Hamilton and
Unexpected
Verstappen,
DNF.
Max and Lewis can get disqualified and Bottas wins the title.
Yeah, exactly. That's a
The
bold prediction.
upset of the millennium.
Valtteri's like, what am I doing here?
What do you mean this is my trophy?
But yeah,
I'm
so
used to
Ben,
second place.
championship.
Lewis, 8-time champion.
Richard, title.
Verstappen, please. Please.
Is that your prediction, or is that just you begging to the gods?
Both. Both.
Fair. And I'm going with Hamilton.
Inserts Emperor's New Groove. Both is good.
I'm going with Hamilton.
Shock.
I won't even ask about the constructors because that is practically wrapped up unless we get a Mercedes double DNF.
Haas.
Haas.
Has to enter the chat.
Mick deploys der plan.
It would be nice to
everyone's
see
car,
Haas score some points.
Everyone's car's been illegal for the whole year, apart from Haas.
No, it's Mick will deploy der plan, and if Mick's der plan fails, Seb will deploy der plan, and that is when Lewis comes up to lap them.
No.
Yeet. The last word you hear on the radio is for Michael. There shall be no eighth.
Until 2022.
No.
Lol.
Because everyone knows the Ferrari master plan is going to work for 2022.
Oh, yeah, of course. No, it's the Alpine master plan, of course.
Ferrari, because they deliberately tanked themselves even lower than Alpine, so they had even more time in the wind tunnel. So it's going to be Ferrari 2020 World Champions.
Haas.
I mean,
Haas have the most time in the wind tunnel. Well, no, it's Williams, actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they're doing all right now.
Yeah.
Our plan.
It's only El Plan when Alonso does it.
It's coffee cash.
Probably can.
El Cappuccino.
So, podium predictions, please. Richard.
Okay, well, I can't.
He was going to say Hamverbot. We all know it. He's just predicted Verstappen for the title.
He's like,
He wants to say Hamverbot.
I want to win the prediction championship, but at the same time, I want Max to win
He's
the
like,
drivers.
next week is like, I've won, but I bought a car.
Excuse me while I just go and steal that tweet from Haas. Mick into Q2. Oh, God. Bottas, Perez, Sainz.
Where are the other two?
Yeah, what happened?
Dead.
I shot them both.
Richard, you're throwing away the predictions contest.
Why did you pick me to go first? Why couldn't you pick
This is why.
I didn't realise being first was going to be such a handicap. Oh.
I'm usually the one that goes first. Yeah.
That's because I've been hosting, so I've been able to deflect. Oh, God. Fine. Damage limitation. Verhambot.
Ben?
So it's a 4-point gap.
Mm-hmm.
So if I say Hamverbot, will that do it or not?
Well, I mean, it depends on where they finish, really.
So say
Okay, so
is third.
if it does finish Hamverbot and you say Hamverbot,
Yeah.
you will get 16 points. But if it finishes Verhambot, you'd get 3, 4, 5, 6. So if on the position swap, there's a 10-point swing.
Say Ham. Oh, I want to say Bottas, but I don't want to say a Mercedes one too. So let's say I'll go a Hamburg but again.
Hamverbot. For me, Hambot there. It's how we should have ended 2020. It's how we'll end 2021. Hambot there. Nia?
The Ver obviously first. Then
Well, no, he could have came third and Lewis fourth. There was no obvious.
the Ham. Let's chuck in signs.
MSC.
Let's chuck in signs just so we can see how just watching them just be awkward on the podium. The other two just being awkward because Max has won and Lewis is just like. We might have won.
Speaking of podium, Verstappen in Saudi Arabia just been like, nah, adios.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, he has fulfilled his contractual obligation to appear on the podium. So
Yeah. It was just quite funny. Just watching him go, adios.
I put a tweet out. It was Piers Morgan. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
I wasn't getting into any who's right, who's wrong in anything. I was just, he's leaving. This is perfect.
So until we hear from, if we hear from Alex and anyone else, we'll come back to you on the predictions contest. If not, we'll get them at some point during the week and add them to the list. We'll put out a tweet when we do.
And I'll probably update the description or something.
Yeah.
And we'll probably say next week as well.
Next week as well, yeah.
Formula 2. They were racing this weekend.
Premier Team champions.
Yeah. Is that confirmed then?
Yeah.
What race did they win it in? 1, 2, or 3?
1, 2, or lack of 3.
Yeah.
Whatever was left of the third one.
I
think they awarded half points.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they certainly completed more laps than they did at Spa.
And even Spa awarded half points. Pain. So, yeah. Sprint race 1. There was a big accident off the line at turn 1. And we got a safety car.
Off the line.
Yeah.
Feature race was off the line.
Yeah. And we got safety cars galore. Feature race 2. Safety cars galore.
I mean, they didn't even make it to turn 1 that time. Someone put it in the wall before turn 1. It's a straight.
And then race 3.
Ouch.
Yeah.
It's what you don't want to see, and it's what we've seen occasionally. But it's the same. It's the same thing with. It's kind of why I want to see anti-stall in Formula 2, because like we got it in Formula 1 for this exact reason.
It's one of those things that could happen really in any series, though.
Yeah,
like it could still happen in Formula 1, even with anti-stall. Your engine could just die.
Yeah. But at the same time, all we had with, almost had with Danny Rick, where his car literally wouldn't go into gear.
Yeah.
So, because that's a different ball game entirely. My engine's running, but my gearbox is not playing games.
Yeah. Well, they are playing games. Just not the right games.
Yeah. It's playing red light, green light, but the wrong version.
Yeah. So, yeah, it could happen in any series. It's not what we like to see. The good news is Fittipaldi is mostly okay. He's simply picked up a broken heel, and Prochere as well is okay. We're not sure if they'll take part in the season finale this weekend.
I wouldn't think he'd take part with a broken calcaneus. That's very painful.
It's more Prochere.
Prochere might have a chance. I,
or if we'll see more Formula 2 debuts. How good was it to have Formula 2 back, though?
Well, finally.
Yeah. 2 months, 70 days.
Yeah, I mean, I
between
don't want to like
weekends.
burst your bubble or anything, but like we're about to enter a period a lot longer than 70 days.
Yeah, but the difference is that's called the off season.
Yeah, that's called the pain train.
It's not just
All
a random
aboard.
mid-season gap.
Mm. Well, at least we're not a Formula 2 podcast and we have to like find 8 weeks worth of waffle in between weekends.
Yeah, that's true.
We have to do that for the off season now.
Woo!
So
At least it's not 2020.
Dog shit content coming your way.
At least it's not 2020, where we would have showed up for a race weekend and then had to find 3 months of content.
I think we'd have
From
just delayed the
literally
start of the
nothing happening.
podcast at that point.
yeah.
Welcome to our review of Not the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
We would have just done reviews of the bloody virtual Grand Prix, wouldn't we?
Classic
Yeah.
races.
We're just called
Johnny Herbert taking-
hero every week.
Taking the absolute racing line into turn 1 through 3.
Yeah. Johnny Herbert taking the open lobby line.
Taking the 10-second penalty on the chin.
Yeah.
Oh. But yeah, no, Formula 2 back. Huzzah, finally.
Although it didn't start very well when free
FP1.
practice was delayed due to operational reasons.
Brilliant. It's not like the track had only just been like verified a matter of hours before.
Yeah.
And it was
Let's-
already broken.
Let's not leave it as late for any other circuit. The FIA, please. Thank you.
Let's hope next year they learnt a lesson for Jeddah.
Jean Todt, please.
I mean, they probably just
Oh.
won't disassemble the track.
That's a bit of news. It was Jean Todd's last attending race, I think, or something like
Yeah.
that.
Oh my god.
Very sad.
That means he's going to be even more of an avid listener.
Yeah, because they had the photo shoot with all 20 drivers with like, thank you, Jean.
Yeah.
Only everyone else was in like team wear and all that. Charles Leclerc turned up in his racing overalls.
Yeah.
What a legend.
Full kit.
There's two opinions there.
The opportunity come, I sent it.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And so the new president is either going to be Graham Stoker
Toto
Or
Wolff.
or Mohammed
Mohammed.
Ben Sulayem. Those are your two candidates for FIA president.
Oh, God.
I'm already backing Graham Stoker because on Mohammed's list is Fabiana Eccleston, and that name gives me flashbacks to when Bernie wanted to install sprinklers to Formula One.
Ah, no, see, that was one of his better ideas, all right?
Or shortcuts.
The worst ideas of Eccleston's were like the complete lack of social media in the paddock and all that sort of gubbins. But sprinklers, now that would be spicy, and I can kind of get behind that at certain circuits.
Yeah, but think about also shortcuts. We
Mario
already know where the one
Kart.
would be in Paul Ricard.
Well, yeah, just don't.
You just
drive
get to
anywhere.
ignore that.
Just invent your own race circuit.
Imagine having shortcuts and then getting done for track limits.
You violated track limits at turn. Wait, which layout were you driving this lap? Turn. Okay, so that'd be turn 7 on that layout. Okay, gotcha.
Shortcut at
I've won.
Monaco.
I've won, but at what cost?
Where would you even put a shortcut at Monaco?
Send it over the chicane.
Make a bridge over Lowe's hairpin.
Yeah,
Right, I've
bring
got
you out
Alex's.
to the end of the tunnel. Wait, Alex has replied. We don't need to send out any tweets.
Hamilton pole. Hamilton, Bottas, Leclerc on the podium.
Oh my goodness. Where's he got Verstappen?
That's in his bold prediction.
We forgot about bold predictions.
And Mazepin bingo.
Formula 2 can wait.
Yeah.
Bold predictions.
Like they have for months.
Nia.
For the last race of the season, I'm going to chuck in unexpected DNF.
Don't you dare.
No, the stewards will not allow it. 2 penalty points.
No,
Taking your total in the 12-month period to 6.
I'm not. Teammates collide.
You going to specify which team? No? Okay.
You can do an optional specification for optional bonus points.
No, because that didn't work last time.
I mean, if any other teammates happen to collide, you'll still get the teammates collide points. This is just extra.
So we're offering
bonus.
you 1 extra point
If
you specify which team.
Deal or no deal?
I'm tempted to go with half because that's like the easy way out. But
well, it can't be Mercedes and it can't be Red Bull because of your predictions.
It can't be Ferrari either. Let's go with Aston Martin.
Aston. Ben, bold prediction, please.
Both McLarens and Ferraris to be like next to each other. So if Ricciardo's 5th, Lando will be 6th or 4th. And then with Carlos and Leclerc, they're like 7th. The one be 8th or 6th.
So basically what the Ferraris have been doing for the last 5 races.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Richard?
Bottas to attempt bowling. Actually, no, because he's on the podium. Perez to attempt bowling and fail. I kind of want to do that because he's not on my podium prediction, but at the same time, I need him for. Oh God.
Is that what you're sticking with?
We will say. Red Bull team orders fail.
So Sergio just goes, no.
No, it was more Sergio tries something and it very much doesn't work.
Alex's, please.
Max to try another tactical foul, but only takes himself out.
Fair enough. And I'm going to go with, we'll have an exciting race. It's Abu Dhabi, so that is a bold prediction.
Yeah, but it's a new layout, so
we don't know. Making it equally as bold. Huzzah!
I can't find my way around that.
Half points.
No, full point.
Half points because this is going to be an exciting race anyway, purely because of the circumstance.
I'm talking about in terms of on-track action, not take the championship out of it. There will be.
Can't. It's inseparable. They are one.
Very well. It will be an exciting race below P3.
Okay, there we go. That I'll allow because it's never exciting.
Good.
Noah's Ark time. Right, Mazepin bingo.
Yeah.
And then maybe I'll put out a tweet in the off season to get people to send in a jingle.
That would just be
people just send in jingle bells.
People just send in them going, "Time for Mazepin bingo."
That can just be a podcast episode if we have literally nothing else. Reviewing people's Mazepin bingo.
It'd be a 5-minute episode. Hi, welcome to the episode. One person submits. Goodbye.
or making our own. If we're
We'll
that
open up
bored.
Mazepin Bingo to everyone for next year as well, so everyone will get to play.
Well, I mean, I think that'll depend on preseason testing and whoever's going to be the slowest, because it could be Guan Yu Zhou. We could be playing Zhou Bingo, which actually sounds somewhat better. Zhou Bingo. I rate it. Chris, you haven't been first for any of these. It's your turn to go first for something for once.
I'm trying to find out how many laps are in the race.
Well, yeah, because the track layout's changed, so the number of laps might have changed.
Yeah.
Abu Dhabi.
I'm
It says
already
58.
58. Yeah. Yes. Lap 22. 2.
Ben.
Yes, he'd be lapped. He'd be lapped. Lap 24. And what, there's 58 laps. So it'd be 2 laps down.
Just.
Yeah.
Nia.
Yes, it'll be that.
This is a yes, he will finish, not yes, he will be lapped.
Yes,
lapped is kind of
yes, he'll
given.
finish. Lap 25, 3 laps down. Well, one last time.
Did you say 3?
Yes, I always go with it. Usually.
Jesus. I mean, you said 2 last time, but you know. Dempster breaks. Alex has said he will finish. He will get lapped on 27 and will finish 2 laps down. Wow, that doesn't leave a lot of like needles to thread there, does it? Jesus. He will finish. He will finish 2 laps down. And do I go higher or lower? See, if I pick a bookend, I win. If it's either way, but otherwise, I've got to kind of like pick a spot in the middle, and there's not a lot of spots.
Mazepin Bingo.
I haven't kept track.
But
I mean, there's been very rarely a bingo, so we'll probably say whoever's got. I think it might be you, Chris.
I mean, we could find out we could have a championship decider for the last race again, or just find out next episode.
I mean, yeah, I can just count it up.
Yeah, Richard will do some sums.
Hooray!
1 point every time you win.
Yep.
0 points anytime you lose. Sorted.
Yeah.
Easy sums.
Do you want a bonus point for a full bingo, like an actual bingo?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Mainly because I know I have one.
I should have asked everyone else that.
I disagree.
You asked the race director.
Race director is now referring to the stewards. So Nia and Ben,
get back to you in
3 to 5 working days.
Right to review. There was a right to review in Formula 2 triggered as well, but we'll talk about that shortly.
Okay, so I'll go for lap 28 and 2 laps down. So
28. So Massey has had a sit-down interview with Formula1.com, and we'll talk about that in a moment. How the hell did Max Verstappen win Driver of the Day?
It's the internet, isn't it?
How? It's bemusing.
Kind of internet go, woo!
I think I know who's getting Driver of the Day this race.
Oh, yeah, it's
been
Kimi
going on the
Räikkönen.
internet since his retirement was announced, so for about 3 months.
Can't wait for that interview in the car.
I've seen it in every single F1 TikTok. Vote Kimi Räikkönen for Driver of the Day.
Who's winning Driver of the Day this year? 1, 2...
And we've got most overtakes, that little award happening.
3, 4. I think Sergio Perez is winning Driver of the Day. He's won it 4 times.
Angry Helmut Marko noises.
It's just angry Dutch noises because they always just vote for Max anyway.
Yeah.
He's only won it once, twice, 3 times. Lewis has won it twice. Fernando has won it twice. Lando has won it 3 times. Seb's won it twice. Charles has won it twice. So yeah, quite a few drivers have come away with driver of the day.
Who
this
won it
year.
at Spa?
Let's
The
check.
vote never opened.
George Russell robbed.
Yeah, because it goes from Hungary to Zandvoort.
Yeah. So
Because the vote
No.
only opens like halfway through the race.
Yeah,
and there was no race.
but there was.
Yeah,
There was a
but
race.
there wasn't driver of the day, so
There wasn't driver of the day.
Therefore, no race.
yeah.
Yeah, who is it's now winning the overtakes? It's Seb, isn't it? He took the lead,
So was Alonso.
or is it Alonso?
It's either Alonso, Seb, or Kimi. I know that.
Well, yeah, it was one of those three before we came into the weekend because there's only
Yeah,
like a couple
exactly.
between them. But
So they haven't updated it. Alonso was winning after Qatar. And Sergio won it for Qatar with the most overtakes. Then Lewis won it in Brazil. Esteban won it in Mexico. Seb in the US. Carlos in Turkey. Leclerc in Russia. 18 overtakes by Leclerc in Russia. Bottas won it in Italy with 14. Angry Max Verstappen noises. Sergio won it in Zandvoort. And then that's when they started tracking it.
I mean, you can't really overtake anyone when you're at the front, can you? So.
Yeah, I think just the fact that it's his teammate.
His teammate didn't qualify in the right position.
Formula
It's
2.
definitely not Seb because Seb DNF'd.
Yeah.
Raikkonen lost 3 from the start to the finish. I know that's not exactly a science on overtakes, and Alonso maintained his position in 13th. So,
But equally, who knows how many times he swapped positions during the race.
Yeah.
So the top 3 and the top overtakes of the season is currently...
Alonso.
Hurry up and flash it up. Vettel leads with 127. Then it's Alonso with 125 and Kimi with 121. Your exact science was very off.
I didn't know the positions they were in before the start of the race, so I just knew they were close. don't
Formula 2. Yeah, it didn't start very well. As has our discussion about Formula 2, it was also delayed.
We're really good at this.
Yeah, we're professionals, we promise.
Almost a
Then-
full season of this. We're doing great.
Then we had practice. Where I think there was only one red flag in practice, which seemed to surprise everyone. Because everyone was expecting many more.
Yes.
And then we had quali. Oscar Piastri did Oscar Piastri things. He's all but won the championship now. Like, it would take an extreme swing from not to win it.
He's been saying on his social media for well done to Prema for the team champions that's won this one last time. So I'm just like, is he know he's gonna win it, or is he leading Formula 2 if he doesn't win it anyway?
Well, he's going to Formula 1. He's the reserve driver in Formula 1 for Alpine.
He can still do Formula 2.
Not if he wins.
Not if he wins.
If he doesn't win. So that was like...
But I think they want him in like an important trackside role.
Mhm.
where Formula 2 would be a distraction.
I imagine him getting a decent number of FP1 sessions.
And they could also just be referring to the fact that it's the end of the season.
And he doesn't have a drive, technically. So.
Yeah. Tectum's going to Formula E. Thank goodness there's not much team radio in Formula E.
Peace and quiet.
So Dan's going.
You just hear Tictum around the track.
Trackside mics instead of the guy in the car going. It's just Tictum going on his way past.
And Formula E's mental as well. How is he going to cope?
No.
He won't. He'll pop a blood vessel in his head, and that'll be it.
Someone else is going to Formula E.
Giovinazzi.
Yeah. So they're both going to FE.
He only took part in like one day of testing, didn't he? One or 2 days.
He is still with Formula One, so
I know, but I was pointing it out.
Yeah.
Different caliber.
Yeah. Totally different cars. Antonio Giovinazzi, world champion. What team is he going to?
No idea.
Is it like Dragon?
Yeah.
No. Penske won't win the title.
Yeah, no.
I don't pay attention to the worry things.
Tictum's going to Neo CCC. So no time for him either.
Tictum's going to the Haas of Formula E.
As he should. I would say nothing against
Neo
Tictum,
might even be worse than the Haas.
That's impressive.
It's horrific.
Like, because there's gloves, and then there's just like
Haas.
No, see, because Haas would be the equivalent. Haas would be the equivalent of steering wheel rolled in glitter. Well, rolled in a Russian flag in this case, but you know, that is just pure.
Claps the steering wheel here.
Obviously, that's to be taken in Formula E terms. Like, they're not getting lapped and stuff every race, but no one does in Formula E.
Races don't last that long.
Yeah, they only last 45 minutes plus one lap.
Hooray.
With no mandatory pit stop. So Oscar Piastri does Oscar Piastri things and takes pole position. And then
he's only the second driver in F2 history, as short as F2 history is, to take 4 poles in a row. So
who's the other?
I don't actually know. They never said. But part of me wants to say it's George.
It'll either be George, or Lando, or Charles.
No, I think Lando only got 1 pole. Or 1 win. I can't remember which one. But it was probably George.
It'll either be George or Charles.
In before Latifi.
Yeah. So we had sprint race 1.
Crunch.
Yeah. That's the easiest way to describe it. Crunch. Into turn 1. They didn't like
turn 1
Jeddah very much. They kept crashing.
It is Formula 2.
Yeah.
And it is Jeddah.
Yeah. Also true. But yeah, so the classification. No, I don't want Marcus Armstrong's biography. I want the classification.
That is the classification.
You just added the old classification out.
There we go. Sprint race 1 results.
It's in the prologue.
So Marcus Armstrong wins it. We only had 18 finishers out of 22.
I thought it was just 20.
20? No, 22.
Oh,
22. Because it's 30 in Formula 3. I'm fairly sure it was 22.
Yeah, it's 30, but there's three cars per team. There's always 10 teams.
No, there's 11 teams.
Oh. Which team am I
Um,
forgetting? Trident.
No, they're there.
Yeah, no,
there's
it's more just that they're so
Prima-
far off the pace.
Prima Virtuosi, Carlin High Tech, ART, MP Motorsports, Charouz, Dams, Campos, HWA Race Lab, and Trident.
The leather, of course.
Exactly. Race 2, Crunch.
Crunch before turn 1,
Yeah. No, that was race 3.
It was before. It was in sprint race 2 as well.
Oh, was it?
He hit the wall on the inside of turn 1.
Oh, yeah. At least that was at turn 1.
I mean, almost.
Yeah.
Almost. So
we only managed 15 finishers from sprint race 2.
Jeddah are announcing a new title sponsorship of the track, aren't they? Getting a bit of flack because it's an American company, but Captain Crunch are taking over.
Piastri won it. Daruvala got a penalty, which they weren't very pleased about. So they initiated a right of review, which was promptly dismissed by the stewards. Has one of them ever been successful? They all just seem to fail.
The right of review, I'm not sure.
Kimi's right of review in Imola was admitted, but was then thrown out.
Was the Red Bull making the stewards look at Hamilton's 360-degree camera a right of review?
It may have been, actually.
Because if it was, then that was successful.
Because I wasn't sure if that was a right of review or if that was a protest. Which I guess are slightly different things.
Yeah.
Yeah. It may very well have been a right of review. Or an appeal. I guess there's appeals as well.
Yay.
I think it was an appeal.
Technical lingo.
Yeah. So Daruvala was penalised for going off track and gaining a lasting advantage, which, if you've seen it, just can't be disputed. He did a max. He just ignored turn 1. He locked
Half
up.
the drivers seem to do it.
Yeah. He locked up and then just went, adios. So he received a 5-second time penalty and 1 penalty point.
Bye, have a good time.
Yeah. And Carlin were like, wait, hold on. We have this great new evidence. What did they submit as this great new evidence?
A box of chocolates. And a very sorry note.
They used the race traces downloaded from the car. So basically, look, he braked.
He tried. Not very hard.
Yeah. So the stewards came to the same conclusion as they did in Brazil, which was that the data is new. It was unavailable.
But
because
it was
it's
not
new.
Significant.
It was relevant, but yeah, not significant.
Basically, it told the same story.
Yeah. Which in this case was undeniable because he braked and then just accelerated.
Just said bye.
Yeah. So, adios. It was pretty much a Stonewall penalty, as you've ever saw one. And then the feature race. They took a day to notice damage to the barriers, somehow. And then when they eventually repaired the barriers, we thought we were getting going. And then it came up, session aborted. No one quite knows why that happened. But there was a further 2-minute delay. Then we went to the grid. So someone didn't get off the grid for the formation lap.
Foreboding.
Yeah. So they
Captain
got rid of
Crunch.
pit lane. And then Porsche didn't get off the line at all.
No.
Just sat there.
Well, I mean, he did eventually.
Yeah, he was launched off the line
Once
by
Enzo,
Fittipaldi.
Enzo said hello. Yeah.
So that led to a 45-minute red flag while they made sure the drivers were okay and then cleaned some stuff up. Yeah, because there was oil on the circuit. We saw Massey sliding along the start-finish straight, which was quite funny to watch. He was just sort of scuffing his feet over the concrete dust while frantically checking his watch, being like, is it Formula One time yet?
Thinking, oh, that can't go any worse than this.
And then we got going. We were told the race would be 20 minutes plus 1 lap with a mandatory pit stop. And you still had to make it to lap 6 to serve your mandatory pit stop. So everybody was going to box at once. We got to lap 6. The safety car was deployed. Everybody boxed at once. Like, Dan texted them double stacked. There was a couple of double stacks
That's just something you
in
don't
Formula
see.
2
Yeah.
where there's only like 6 people on the car. Not a team of 20. So that went about as well as you'd expect, with people nearly getting stuck in their pit box because there's just a car in front of them. And then the race got red flagged and it did not resume. So it got counted back to before the pit stops, and Oscar Piastri wins again. That confirmed Prema as teams champions and all but confirmed Oscar Piastri as the drivers' champion. On to Abu Dhabi for them too.
There's just a couple of bits that I wanted to touch on back in Formula One that I've remembered that I wanted to talk about and didn't. When the safety car came out,
Which one?
This was the first safety car in the first race, and Bottas just meandering around the circuit.
Yes, perfectly legal.
No, it's not.
It is, because you aren't allowed to drop 10 car lengths behind the safety car when you're in the queue.
But you're
No
also
one had
not
been
supposed
picked
to
up by the
drive
safety car.
unnecessarily slowly,
But
which
you
he was.
are given a delta. He was above the delta time.
Well, yeah, exactly. But he was so far above that delta. That's the thing.
He didn't even investigate it. So
I know. I think that's just because, after the red flag, Max was like, ha, P1! So they didn't really care at that point. But then there's
as far as I'm aware, that was legal.
The other thing is that the annoying difference in rulings, again, between a bloody safety car restart lap and a formation lap, where 10 car lengths apparently doesn't matter. Because Lewis was about 40 car lengths behind everyone else. And nobody seems to care except Max.
Yeah. So I don't even think the 10 car lengths thing necessarily applies during a formation lap.
It does, yeah.
Because we saw Lewis in Brazil. He was very far back.
And again, I wanted to raise it in Brazil because nobody batted an eyelid. So, yeah.
Let's consult with the rules on formation laps.
It should be you're not allowed to drop any further than 10 car lengths behind the car in front of you.
See, it just says formation must be kept as tight as possible.
Which 50 car lengths ain't.
It does not specify a length.
Either way, you could fit a bloody barge boat in between him and Max on that formation lap. But it's not a formation lap. So, but the Brazil one was.
Yeah, the Brazil one was a formation lap, and he didn't break the rules there. That's what I say. I'm in the formation lap rules just now.
Just dumb.
So he didn't break the rules there. Let's find the restart rules and see what it says in there.
It's going to be like,
standing
don't crash,
start, restart.
please.
follows the same rules as a formation lap.
So Michael Massey coming over the team radio and saying, yeah, it doesn't count because it's a standing restart was actually just bullshit. Wow. Thank you for lying straight to Jonathan Wheatley.
Once the safety car has entered the pit lane, all cars, with the exception of those required to start from the pit lane, must return to the grid, take up the positions, and follow the procedures set out in Articles 36.12. Sorry, what is 36.12? I think it's Article 37.10, not 36.
Typos.
Which talks about the rules in a formation lap. Which basically says overtaking is only permitted if a car is delayed. It doesn't specify too big a gap. So again, no rules broken. So Jonathan Wheatley basically complained for nothing because he didn't break any rules. Lol. Poor Jonathan.
That's a shocker.
Here comes the housery at Abu Dhabi, where Max literally stays on the grid until Lewis has finished his formation lap.
That, I think, would be against the rules because you need to clear all the pit boxes, otherwise you just get wheeled off.
Okay.
It's
He
where-
gets round turn 1 and then slows to a snail's pace.
Lewis would just do the same, though.
That's where
So
Max will
no
make
one-
contact on the
No one
formation
would have
lap.
any heat in their tyres.
That's why it'd be
Turn
Ma-
1 would be chaos.
Max
Yes.
hits someone in the formation lap and he gets sent back to the grid.
Preheated tyres.
Just sitting there.
And then all the cars just ghost through him.
Yeah. But, yeah, so there was no rules broken in terms of Lewis.
Seems odd given the confusion in the commentary team there, then.
Yeah, but the commentary team are always confused. I don't even think they read the regulations sometimes.
I don't know. It was the fact that Brundle was pretty set that there was, a distance that got me.
I mean, there's a distance behind the safety car.
Yeah, but then again, we're going to come back to the point of this rolling start is behind the safety car, so do the safety car rules apply?
No, because there's a specific article about a standing start restart.
But then we end up back at Imola, where we had the issues with Kimi and the difference between a safety car restart and a normal restart. And
What was it the steward said back in Imola?
it was an unprecedented and therefore very rare circumstance, but you're still a naughty boy, so have time penalty.
Yeah, it was 30 seconds as well. It was a huge time penalty.
Yeah, I think that's because it was added on after the race. So it
Emilia
was
Romagna Grand Prix.
10 seconds
Fine.
stop go.
I guess the problem with Imola as well was also a rolling start, which is different from a standing start.
Yeah, that's true. Or in Max's case, an almost spinning start.
So following the race suspension, he spun.
Wasn't in the correct position.
Yeah, he was out. He was out of position at the race start, essentially. Yeah, basically they were very confused.
And then again, on Spotify anyway. Spotify aren't F1 anyway. Sorry, I read one thing and said the same thing. Think one thing, read another, say wrong. Good. Well done. Official.
Basically the steward said at the time the regulations all contradicted each other.
Lovely. I love it. It just screams like pinnacle of motorsport, that, doesn't it?
Yeah. Which is probably why we've had 11 versions of the sporting regulations this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd think after, 71 years, they'd have ironed it out a bit by now.
Of course not. Why? Who knows? Maybe we'll get another version of the sporting regulations released this week.
When the car in front of you lets you through, don't drive them off the circuit. You naughty boy.
When the car in front of you, when you get overtaken by the car behind you, let them through, don't re-overtake them immediately.
But I mean, that's in there anyway, because Lewis had that penalty. But more, if the car in front of you is driving slowly, don't just not overtake him. Just go past. Ask questions later.
But then if he'd went past, but sees a yellow flag,
Well, then just let him back through. No problem. Because if you've not seen the yellow flag until after the fact, then as long as you let them through and you end up back in the right position, I don't think there's any issue there, is there?
it depends how pernickety they're being on yellow flag rules that day.
Well, I mean, given the precedent they set with earlier in the weekend, I don't think they were being that bothered by it. And given how long it took them to put out a bloody VSC for that massive hunk of barge board, I don't think they were particularly bothered by it. So, and given the bartering system Michael Massey introduced, I don't think they were that bothered by it.
What Massey said in that interview that I referenced earlier is that happens anyway.
Yeah,
It's
just
a normal
it happens
conversation.
a lot quicker.
It happens a lot quicker, and we don't normally hear it.
Yeah. Because normally you go in race speed and it's like, you've got to get them through now, otherwise you're just going to off down the road and disappear. So,
please, can we keep FIA radio?
I hope so.
Like, if that vanishes next season, I will be very sad. Because it's been one of the highlights of this season. Just hearing Toto go absolutely off.
Michael, he's going to cost us the position now.
Michael.
I sent you an email.
I sent you an email, yeah.
Michael. Line goes dead.
I think the email was just peak FIA radio. I send you an email. Don't look at my emails.
That's nice, but I don't care.
Yeah. Just come up and see me if you want. Okay, on my way. Wide Toto. Anyway. That wraps up this week's episode. And the final pre-race episode of the Turn 5 podcast this year.
Oh my God. We have got plans. It's fine.
Yeah, we'll come to you next week with an announcement of the plans for winter.
Yeah.
One of which will be Richard and I finally continuing our two-player career mode.
Oh, but I play on PC now.
I don't care. You'll be on console.
Yeah,
for that.
Yeah, it's fine. I've still got my console. I've got a capture cards. I can just plug my console into my computer. It's fine. We can make it work.
And then
probably need a second screen
on the main channel because
there's nothing else going on
here. Of content.
Woo!
Yeah.
Speaking of, are we talking about Spotify or not?
Spotify, yes. Spotify Wrapped. Thank you to the 15 people that listened
14
to us.
others, because one of them was me. 13 others.
Thank you to the 13 people who we can listen to podcast of the year. Even if we're your only one, that's still good to us.
Yeah, see, I got that come up as, this is your top podcast, and then I didn't get a top 5 podcasts. So I've not listened to enough podcasts to get a top 5. But apparently...
See, I'll be honest, mine was Beyond the Grid.
Mine was Jack Mates Happy Hour.
So I think mine's is okay. Mine was Formula One's podcast.
I don't listen to podcasts, which is ironic. I can't listen to podcasts.
Apparently we've released 41 hours and 20 minutes over 31 episodes.
I only listened to 5 episodes.
I only listened to 4. I think I listened to the first few just to make sure it was working, and then I was satisfied that it was working, so I just didn't bother.
And to be fair, Beyond the Grid is mine because they did an interview with Bert Mylander that I thought was most interesting.
The man that's led the most Formula One laps
in
F1 history.
But yeah, is credited with none of them. Put that man in a Mercedes.
He is some weekends.
Yeah.
I suppose. Put that man in a Mercedes AMG Formula One car.
Now you're getting there.
Maybe they should make this.
What have we got this weekend, actually?
A previous F1 car.
What do you mean? What have we got this weekend?
Safety car.
I don't know.
I think it's Mercedes. because it was Aston this weekend.
In Saudi
Speaking of-
Arabian green.
I did not like it.
No.
No.
I thought it looked not too bad. I'm going to be honest. I didn't mind
It
it.
looked wrong considering I'm used to it in British racing green.
It was
Which is what
different,
it
but
should be.
it wasn't a bad colour.
If it
No,
was like
wasn't
debuted in that
Bodie green.
color, if it was debuted in that color, then I think it'd be alright. But considering we've had the British racing green the entire time, like, no.
I don't know how well British Racing Green would have looked under the lights as well. Because
True.
I think I remember from the high-speed track tests in Bahrain that it was quite dark.
Well, maybe they just need to put a little bit more gloss on it.
Oh, Britannia.
Union Jack paint job.
They could just have given it the Wee Races 1 paint job from last year's Mercedes.
I won't.
Yeah,
Mm.
that would have gone down an absolute treat.
Safety car getting booed.
Well, in fairness, Lewis ran
booed.
a rainbow helmet and got booed by only half the fans.
Yeah, Max didn't run a rainbow helmet and got booed, by the
half
other
the
half
fans.
the fans.
Yeah. And Seb ran a helmet that said "Race for Women" on it and didn't get booed
He
by
was-
anyone.
That's
He
because
was too
Seb
good.
is such a wholesome man and
And
ran a
he wore,
go-karting event for women.
And he wore Pride trainers as well, which refused to take off for the press conference.
Lad.
So they Wee Races 1 confirmed for Abu Dhabi.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hooray. Jesus.
Anyway, that wraps up this week's bumper episode of the Turn 5 podcast. Next week's is probably going to be longer because the championship will have been decided.
Yeah, but we're not going to get too into it. We're just going to do the race, and therefore it's immediate
And
results.
Formula 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you'll be able to see who won by half of the reactions.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you'll be able to tell by what t-shirt I wear. I'll either be my full Mercedes team kit.
Full kit.
Yay.
Well, I say full kit, polo shirt.
Full kit.
Or I'll be sad and Richard will be pleased.
Yeah, but the thing is, I was the only one, when I go back to my team predictions, I put a different team to driver.
Mm.
Oh,
And
Oh,
it's on the
was
verge of
watching-
coming off.
I can't wait until that episode.
The problem
Oh,
is
I
it's the other way round.
It was
I
like
really-
2 weeks today that will happen. Maybe like, oh, I put him there and he's not there.
Well, 2 weeks today will be the season review.
Yeah.
Yep.
I really fucked up the fourth.
Who's my fourth? Mine's is right.
So yeah, next week will be Abu Dhabi. Week after will be our season recap / review / prediction covering. And then the week after that will be...
Christmas?
will it?
Yeah,
So
it's
the
a
27th?
few days
Yeah.
The
after
27th.
Okay, so
So
the 27th will be
the
our
27th will
Formula
have a
2
week
season
off.
review.
The 27th will have a week off.
What you're up to? Oh, fine, I'll just sit here on my own and talk about Formula 2.
Yeah, I
mean-
doubt I'll be doing anything. So.
I'm not
I
doing
don't
it.
think I'll be doing anything, but I think maybe we will do a feeder series season review.
We can
might
probably
have
lump in
Alex-
F3 at the same time.
And we
Oh,
might
yeah.
have Alex back.
Yeah, Alex
He
may
goes home for
exist.
Christmas.
Who knows?
When does Formula start? I know we seem to ask this every week, but it should be
We
soon.
got Formula E starting in January as well.
Is it January?
Yeah, I'll be away then.
Yeah, I'll be
Well,
It's
it looks like we're-
integrated.
asleep.
January
have-
28th, Richard. Watch Formula E. There's no
January
Formula 1.
28th.
Looks like
Oh
we might
no,
have another
that's a
edition.
Friday. Oh, but I sleep on Fridays.
we might be having another edition of the Turn 2 podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
you
not-
literally have no excuse, Richard.
I go
There's
swimming.
no Formula 1.
Can I use that my birthday is on the 1st of Feb and that's on the
No!
Tuesday as it comes out?
No. No, not a chance.
You'll all be here. We'll all talk about Formula E.
Can't wait to talk about the hairdryer championship.
So, over the Christmas break of Formula One, at least, we're going to have two-player career. And Richard, we're going to start again now that they've added new tracks and we can remove Monaco from the calendar.
Thank for that.
So we're just going to pretend that disaster in Bahrain didn't happen.
Yes.
We're also going to have season reviews for all the series. Maybe we can actually watch Freca.
I was going to say, could we just not do Freca? Because
I don't think we should do.
No, we won't do Freca.
God for that.
So Formula 2, 3, W Series.
The
Formula
ones I bothered
E.
to watch.
It'll be on YouTube. Just watch it.
I know, but
Formula E, the season will get started. We'll be talking about Formula E.
car launches.
Car launch season.
Because
But
that's
that's
like what,
not
2
till
weeks after
February.
Formula E starts.
Yep.
It's usually like February, March time, isn't it?
It's around Valentine's Day, sort of February half term.
We're going to have some bumper preseason testing episodes. Might even do a live watch along. Ooh. And then come March, we'll be back in Bahrain before you know it. So thank you very much for watching this episode of the Turn 5 podcast. We will see you next week when we'll know who the world champion is. Best of luck to whoever your driver is, unless it's anyone other than Lewis Hamilton or Max Verstappen, because no one else can win.
Lando. Bye.